Welcome to the AdSense Flippers Podcast. Are you sick and tired of gurus who have plenty of ideas but are short on substance? Worried that ebook you bought for $17.95 won't bring you the personal and financial freedom you long for? Hey, you're not alone. Join thousands of others in their pursuit of niche profits without the bullshit. Straight from your hosts, Justin and Joe of AdSense Flippers.
Welcome to episode 10 of the AdSense Flippers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Cook, and I've got with me my comrade, my business partner extraordinaire, Joe Magnotti. What's up, buddy?
Double digits, baby. I never thought we'd make it here, but here we are.
Yeah, episode 10, man. That's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah.
Seems to be going pretty well. We've got some great 5-star reviews. You know, we just got a 5-star review in Russian.
It's hard to see what it says, but hopefully it's a good review.
I know, worst thing in iTunes, you can't copy and paste it in like Google Translate or something, so I have no idea what it says. Hopefully it's positive, it's 5 stars, good enough, right?
Right.
I've got a great episode lined up this week. This week we're going to be talking about some of our failures in business so that hopefully others can learn. I know that, a lot of people get excited when they read about other people's failures. It's kind of, that voyeur thing going on. And actually, I was thinking about this. It's a bit tougher to talk about. It's easy to write a blog post about some of the things we've failed at or haven't done as well at, but when you're talking about it, it makes it much more personal. So
yeah, we definitely have enough of them. Not too many, or we still wouldn't be in business, but we definitely have enough to talk about, and I think we'll definitely have some good learning points for people out there.
But first, let's get into the updates, news, and information. We got a bunch of new likes on Facebook, man. I'm pretty stoked about that. We're up to 92 likes on Facebook, and we've got some little bit of interaction going on there. And we just posted some photos from our latest party, so that's cool.
Yeah, I really want to push this Facebook thing and make it into like a real fan page, so hopefully that works out.
Yeah, we're working on it, buddy. Next thing, buddy, let's talk about your trip to Manila.
Yeah, I got away for a little weekend, went to go see some call center folks up in Manila. By the way, anyone out there interested into B2C call center stuff, survey stuff, that kind of thing, B2C is business to customer type selling, drop us a note and we'll be able to help you out with that.
So what about your new phone, man? What'd you get?
Galaxy Nexus. I am all over this phone. It's the new Android operating system ice cream sandwich. Very cool, very slick phone. If you're in the market for a new phone and you like Android better than iOS, absolutely, Galaxy Nexus, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I'm not an Apple fanboy, man, but big fan of Android. I'm an Android geek for sure. Next thing we want to talk about, we actually purchased the AdSense 100K Blueprint recently. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's basically an outline on exactly how to build AdSense sites. We want to do a bit of market research and see what other people are saying, what they're doing. I've skimmed it a bit. I'm probably about 25% through it. It looks a bit more detailed and complex than our sites. Some of the information is not useful to me, maybe useful to some people just starting off. It's kind of nice though how it's all in one particular spot where people can just like go through and hammer the sites out.
Yeah, how many emails have we got in the last week of people asking for, oh, can you tell me how to do it from A to Z all in one place? And we say, oh, it's on the website. You just have to go through all the different posts. So, I actually did skim the ebook a little bit, and it was more useful than I thought it was going to be, because at first I was thinking, what are you doing there, Justin, buying an ebook?
Yeah, man, he was giving me a little bit of shit for it. I'll tell you, though, it is pretty interesting. And also, if you are part of our email list, we do send out an email that goes step by step over all of our blog posts. So it links directly to them, so you can go step by step and follow our process as well. But you do have to be part of our email series to get that email. I think it's maybe 2 months down the road. So
just make sure to sign up.
Next thing I want to cover is we actually are testing out SE Cockpit right now. And we've been using Longtail Pro, very happy with it, been able to find quite a few niches. It meets our needs. But we've heard amazing things about SE Cockpit, want to try it out. I can tell you, after about 3 hours of playing with it, it works. I can find niches that way, but it seems like, the complaint where people say quite often, I can't find any niches, I can't find a good keyword. I'm having that problem with SE Cockpit. I think it's because they have their data queued, and so everyone goes through and they find the niches already. So all the ones that you would go for with your type of site are already gone.
Well, and they also seems like a bit of information overload. I logged on tonight and checked it out. I probably only gave it 30 minutes to an hour. But it does seem like there's just so much information that you could start excluding keywords, whereas before you would have had a much simpler process and gone for that keyword that would have worked.
Yeah, I'm not totally sold on it. We're still going to test it out, and we'll let you know how it goes in future blog posts and podcast updates.
But it is fast and comprehensive, which is very nice. So the next thing I want to talk about is our Flippa auction coming up. We're going to put some sites up for sale on Flippa. We haven't done that since, when was it, Justin?
I don't know, man. It's been a while. A month, maybe? A month and a half?
Yeah, probably December, I think, was the last time we offered an auction. And we really want to get back into that. It's good for the brand. It's good for the bottom line. We have some sites coming up here that will be ready.
These would be a nice mix of smaller sites, we're thinking, anywhere from $3 to $8 a month. And we're going to mix it up so it'll be a bunch of them in there, probably 20, 25 sites or so.
Yeah, a good starter package for someone that wants stable income distributed amongst many different sites. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool, so let's get right into the heart of this week's episode, which is all about our failures.
The AdSense Flippers Podcast.
So talking about our failures, buddy, there's always seems to be a lot of interest whenever we're sharing some of the mistakes we've made, and we have plenty of them to share. So basically how we're going to break this week's episode up is into 3 different sections. The first being our real estate business, so some of the problems we ran into there. Second being our outsourcing company, TRYBPO, and some of the struggles we had. And lastly, AdSense Flippers and some of the things that we're dealing with now, and hopefully you can leave some message in the comments and kind of let us know what your thoughts are there. The point of this is really to point out what we're doing, kind of where it went wrong, and some of the things that we learned from it. Now, you may take some different takeaways from our experiences. We hope that you do. But we also hope that maybe we can lead you in the direction of not falling for the same mistakes or same problems that we did or we ran into in the past.
And, a little bit of selfishness here, Justin. I would hope that by talking about our failures so publicly, we don't repeat them.
Yeah, that's one of the things people ask, well, why do you do the income reports? Well, we do it a bit to show people kind of what we're doing, and it's motivating, but it's also to keep us on track, right? Because if we have a bad month, we're doing it publicly. We have to tell everybody. So it's really important for us to share our failures and our problems so that, as you said, we don't repeat them. So, you and I both been through plenty of businesses, plenty of ups and downs, right? Great times, lean times, everything. The first one we're going to talk about is the real estate industry, and our first problem was having a third partner.
Yeah, definitely the third partner was an issue, and I think some of the elements of that were not having a clear division of labor right to begin with.
Well, let's set the scene. So we were both, all of us were loan officers, right, in the mortgage industry, and we said, hey, let's start our own brokerage firm. Let's bring loan officers underneath us. So we ended up bringing on a third partner, and it really didn't work out. He was our sales guy. He was going to do the sales for us because we weren't big fans of doing the sales at that point. We wanted to manage other people, right?
Right. Cold calling was not my thing.
Yeah, we brought him on to do some of the sales, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. I think one of the things we probably should have done is not brought him on as a partner, but brought him on with a fantastic commission split. That means if he works harder and makes more money for him.
Right.
Right, and if he's not, that's his problem. He's not a partner in splitting the money from the business at that point.
And he would have walked away a lot sooner because he wouldn't have been making any money.
Another thing too, I think his financial goals weren't really aligned with ours. We wanted to build a business, right? An independent business that could propel us into the future with future businesses as well. That wasn't his thing. He just wanted to make some cash in the short term. He had more of a short to mid-term approach to his finances than we did.
Yeah, so I would say those are 2 good things to take away here. When you guys get involved in a partnership, think division of labor clearly outlined, maybe even in a contract or some sort of written form, and then make sure that financially your goals are aligned in terms of what you can expect out of the business initially and then where you want to be long term.
Another problem with ours is that we didn't really plan for success, right? We had pretty poor planning for future growth with the real estate business.
Yeah, when you have something like that, you have to have a plan for if it works, right? What is the business going to look like? How are you going to scale to get there? And specifically, what we were doing is we had one avenue for getting new loan officers who brought new sales in, and that was Craigslist. What we should have done, and that was successful, it was good, but what we really should have done was found other avenues to advertise for new loan officers. We were given such high splits, we were giving industry-leading splits. We should have gone out there, pushed our networks, pushed our title officers, and found other ways to bring people in.
Also, at that time, we just wanted to make money, right? The idea was, let's just make some money, let's just make it work for us. But we didn't really have a plan for what if it starts working, right? What if it starts getting really big? And it started to, right? We started making a good amount of change, good amount of money, but we didn't have any plan for that. We didn't have any discussion about what's our business going to look like, who we're going to put in place to run it.
Yeah,
right?
What are we going to reinvest our money in?
And that's the other thing too, is that when it's working, scale the shit out of it.
Right.
Right? If you're making money and it's successful, double down, knock it out of the park, because that's the most important time for you to build your business is when it's working well.
Absolutely.
So our third problem actually with the real estate business was our lack of transition, right? We saw the writing on the wall, buddy. Real estate market was tanking. This was early 2007.
Yeah, I didn't need Fox News to tell me that the mortgage industry was going to collapse.
Yeah, so when you see that coming, you have to get in front of it. We had some friends that started getting into debt collection right around that time. It was a pretty smart move because there was a ton of money in that over the next couple of years, and they were able to parlay their real estate earnings into debt collection earnings and start debt collection businesses, which was very successful for them.
Yeah, I wish we had done something like that, especially we had telemarketing experience at the time, we had business experience. If we had just moved that towards another similar industry, we could have been more successful.
Now, here's something that we debate a bit. Normally, I think it's really good to reinvest in something that's working. At that time, I agree with you, it wasn't working, but you look back on that and you think we should have taken more cash out.
Yeah, I think that we didn't find a way to take profits personally from the business to keep our personal financial goals in order. Basically, the industry changed from underneath us, and we had to go get jobs.
Yeah.
And if we had planned better for that in terms of actual pay, salary, that kind of thing, I think we would have been more ready to be prepared for a change like that.
Yeah, if we'd have taken more cash out for ourselves, especially when it's not working. Remember we said scale the shit out of it when it's going well? Yeah, take the cash, man. Take the money and run when it's not.
Yeah, to use a poker analogy, if you're losing at poker, you start to turn a corner and you're losing, but you're still up for the night, it's time to get up and walk away. Take your winnings.
Absolutely. So the next area we wanted to talk about was our outsourcing company, TRYBPO. Now, when we started TRYBPO, we were actually employed by our major client. That's the reason we came out to the Philippines, was to set up back-end operations for them.
Yeah, we've reviewed this story quite a number of times, I think, on several podcasts and interviews, so we won't go into it in too much detail. But basically, we were here setting up a capture center for them under our own business.
So that sounds great. I mean, they were paying us well, right?
Yeah.
They set everything up. They got all the employees in place. What was the problem?
Guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, guaranteed. You're going to have it for this long. So we were willing to take a bit less upfront to get everything set up because we knew that for sure we had, I think it was 12 months guaranteed, and then a scale down process after that if they wanted to.
Right, so we were willing to move out here, spend a lot of our own personal capital, get things set up, because we knew we had a guarantee, or at least we thought we had a guarantee.
So yeah, some of the lessons we learned there, guarantees do not protect you.
Yeah, they're really not even worth the paper they're written on, honestly.
Yeah, the problem is that if their business starts failing or they have problems or they don't think you're delivering the value you were before, they absolutely will cut it, and it's probably not worth the legal hassle to go after them. You shouldn't take less money up front. You shouldn't negotiate down based on that guarantee.
Yeah, I would have preferred to have less money per agent and less money monthly and gotten some sort of initial setup fee or something like that.
The problem, I think we were working with mentors, and these guys love contracts. They're really good at them. So they knew probably from the beginning that if things did turn south, and I'm sure that wasn't their intention, but if things did turn south, you know.
Right, and you can't blame them for it. They had to protect their business as well.
Yeah, so definitely don't give up your short-term value for long-term guarantees. Also, another problem is that being in business for yourself is great, but you're not in business for yourself when you have one client. They own you.
Yeah, you're basically a hired hand. You're basically a hired gun, and when that one customer goes away, so does your business.
Yeah, we should have diversified earlier. So we were stuck with one major client. We should have went with more quicker. That was one of our problems for sure.
And now problem number 2, we didn't provide a unique value proposition, Justin, right?
Yeah, we didn't really separate ourselves from some of the other outsourcers. I mean, basically, our whole goal with that was just to be any other outsourcer, right? One of the many. I mean, we knew there were people bringing in millions, even billions of dollars per year, if we can just pick up a small piece of that, right? And that's a common entrepreneurial mistake where you go, oh, if I just get 1% of the market, I'm going to be rich.
Yeah, but if you're not unique, if you don't distinguish yourself from your competitors at all, which we weren't doing, why is anyone going to go with you over the market leader?
Yeah, the key point here is do something that people give a shit about.
Right.
If they don't give a shit, they're not going to care about you. No matter, you can try to go down on price, but you're not really going to compete there. It just doesn't really work. So you have to separate yourself from the competition, which I think we've done a good job with AdSense Flippers.
Yeah, we definitely learned from that. And we've definitely learned another point, which is connect with others that offer something similar, but maybe not competing.
Yeah, so with our outsourcing business specifically, we know what we're good at, right? We know that we're good at non-voice BPO services, admin, database, spreadsheet work. That's the stuff we're particularly good at. We don't do voice campaigns. That's not really our gig. right? And so when we can send that off to someone else who's in the industry that does voice work, it's great because they can send the other business to us.
Yeah, and the customer feels a little bit better about talking to us about outsourcing because they know that we're going to give them an honest answer.
And we didn't do that at first, unfortunately. We just we had nowhere to send leads. We were getting leads in and having nowhere to send them. And setting that up, those relationships earlier would have made us more money. Another thing, too, is know what you're worth, right?
Yeah, have a good idea about your bottom line. So know your costs, know what's a good profit margin for you and what you're willing to accept. And then don't go down market. Don't try to compete on price all the time.
Yeah, that's a real problem, especially in the outsourcing business where you'll have people working on the cheap. I mean, they have people stacked in rooms, really hardcore, and they pay rock bottom dollar pricing and payments.
Yeah, especially locally run BPO centers are going to be able to outprice you every time. So why even compete?
Yeah, offer a better value solution to your customers, and they'll go with you even if you're more expensive because you get it done for them.
Yeah, the last point is cancerous personnel, and I love this one because I thought I knew a lot about managing people before I got over here. I mean, we had managed medium-sized teams. Both of us had done that in the States, but I don't think we really had a cancerous personnel problem until we got here.
Yeah, we started to find that some of our agents were just negative, just down on each other, down on the business, gossiping, and that was a big problem for us when we came out here. We had a few people that were like that, causing issues within the organization.
Yeah, so that's why I say when you're starting off your company, while still small, and we still do this to today, be involved in the hiring process.
Yeah, we directly interview anyone before they work with us. Anyone and everyone, we directly interview. Now, that's not scalable, right? But I'd say under 60 people, 80 people, you absolutely should do that.
Yeah, I'm reading a book right now. It says the number of personal connections that you can maintain is about 150. So I'd imagine if you half that for interviews, if you had a company that was 75 to 80 people, you should still be able to personally interview for every position.
What book is that, buddy?
Free.
Oh, yeah. Great book. Another thing you should really focus on is hiring on trustworthiness. That's a better fit for your organization than skill set almost all the time. If they're similar skill sets, right? If it's close, go with the person you trust. If you have a bad feeling in your gut about that person because they're complaining about their old job, their old boss, if they seem like they're going to be an HR problem, don't hire them.
Yeah, I'm hiring a new HR person right now, and I will tell you, one person came in that's better qualified than the person that I like, but the person I like just had a better fit with me, and I have to work with this person all the time on a personal level. I know she's going to be okay because her skills are close enough, and I know we'll be able to work better. So that's a better hire than what's on paper.
And we don't want to hire an HR person that may potentially be an HR problem, which we think that particular applicant might have been.
Right. And then the last thing I would say, and this is a big one, no nepotism. People hiring their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, that's just a bad idea.
Now, I love referrals, but you have to be careful with that too, because a lot of times you'll get a referral to hire a cousin or a friend of the family or something. And if you get too many of those people in a group, it starts to look bad, especially if they're all working for someone that is related to them somehow, right? Then that's a real problem. So we've got to be pretty careful with that. Specifically with our content managers, the AdSense Flippers, they hire third-party writers. We told them specifically they cannot contract to anyone they know personally.
Yeah, I think that's a really good rule. And I think in general, we've kept the rule of, no family or friends, maybe friends, but no family members in the business as well either.
So the third section we want to cover is our work in the internet marketing industry, specifically with AdSense Flippers and with some other projects that we worked on. And our first problem is a company called twitart.com. Now, this is a website we bought back in 2009. It had gotten some props from a guy named Joel Comm, who wrote a book about Twitter, got quite a few hits. We ended up buying it on Flippa.
Yeah, for about $5,000, right?
Yeah, got a great deal. And then we actually got that site up to earning about $2,000 a month, which is pretty fantastic. And we had all the backgrounds designed here in the Philippines for cheap.
Yeah, we absolutely made money on that deal, no problems. In fact, we went through a site redesign, we spent some money on the thing, and we still made money.
Here's our problem, though, is it started to decline, right?
Yeah.
So the revenue started to go down a bit over time, and we really did nothing with it. We were more focused on our other business interests and really spent a lot less time on Twitart, and we saw over time the the revenue start to decline. We did nothing about it.
Yeah, that was a big issue for me because I kept cutting costs trying to make it more profitable by like cutting out AdWords, which cut its marketing stream, cut back on other things, and basically you can't cut yourself into a winning product.
Yeah, so basically we've come up with this strategy. Either build it or sell it.
Yeah, don't let it wither and die. That's the worst thing you can do to an asset.
Yeah, because basically we ended up, and now it's down to, a couple of sales a month, but it's really nothing much going on there. So recently we've decided to try and turn it around with Twitter. We said, you know what, now that it's died out a bit, let's try to build it back up. How's that working out, buddy?
Big mistake.
Oh man, it sucks. So we hired a guy, an AdWords specialist, who started working on conversions. His idea was to take our current traffic and convert it better. So we started working on that, and I think he was doing a relatively good job, but it's lost its pizzazz, man.
Yeah, the market's changed. Most Twitter backgrounds are given away for free now, and they have some sort of freemium model where they give away the basic stuff for free and then charge for upgrades, that kind of thing. And Twitter doesn't do that. So any amount of marketing and conversion is just not going to do it.
Second point here on a lesson learned would be, once it's dead, either change the model and rebrand it or just let it die. I mean, we could have changed it, I think, to the freemium model to keep it going, but you can't just pick it right back up where it was before and hope that it's going to be successful.
Yeah, and then at this point, it's not worth reinvesting a whole bunch of money in it and changing it over to the freemium model.
The other thing we didn't do, and we talked about this at the time, but we didn't think there was enough in TwitArt to really build around it, but you can build around your brand, right? So, one of the things we talked about was doing like social media outsourcing,
yeah.
Right? So connect your different brands, connect outsourcing and TwitArt, connect something else. We could do
Facebook pages.
Yeah, Facebook pages, overall social media marketing. So it's something we didn't roll with. There's a plan to do it, but it kind of fell to the wayside. But if you have a brand that's working, definitely building around it in case, maybe TwitArt dies out. Maybe it would have continued the death it had, but something else would have picked up and taken its place.
Right. So problem number 2 that we learned in internet marketing is lack of connections, living on an island, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing with internet marketing, it's funny, is anonymity is bullshit, right? People really want to connect with one another. I know it's online, I know that you can be anonymous, but that's not what people love. That's not what people need and want, right? They actually want to connect with other human beings.
Yeah, you got to share your resources freely with others so that they'll share back with you.
Yeah, so if you're connecting with others and you're saying, hey, look, this guy's fantastic, love what they're doing over here, really think this is cool, they're going to be more inclined to share with you as well. And your readers, your listeners are served by that because you're sharing honestly from the heart what you think is useful to them, and they'll appreciate that.
And you can only do that if you put yourself out there by making a brand. If you just try to do everything behind the scenes and be the engineer, you're just not going to be successful.
Or some random faceless person online. There's enough of those. How much crap content is on the internet right now, right? So if there's someone I respect and like pointing to another brand or pointing to something else and they're saying it's actually useful, I'm going to check it out because I don't want to have to wade through all the other crap to find something good. This guy's found it for me.
Right. You'd be surprised at how helpful high-level people can become if you reach out.
Yeah, if you give them an email, give them a call, get on the phone, try to reach out to them, they're generally pretty helpful. We'll get back to you, offer suggestions. I remember Damien from the DC reached out to Chris Ducker and was amazed at how, he got an email back from him, was great, gave him some bullet points on what it's like to be in the Philippines and work here, live here. I mean, those are the types of things you can do without too much effort.
Yeah, Derek Sivers met with us in Singapore. We were there, and he gladly met with us and talked with us for a couple of hours.
Yeah, and in my mind, dude, that's a top-level guy. I mean, he's insanely bright, right? I know he plays the just starting off my business kind of thing, but the guy's insanely wicked smart. And we got to meet with him in Singapore, which I thought was amazing. And it was just simply through an email letting him know we appreciate his work.
So problem number 3, not building for success.
Yeah, here's the thing. When starting off, for sure, I want to be clear here, you should start off on the cheap, right? You shouldn't put a ton of time or money or investment into something unless you're sure that it's going to work. But when it's going to work and it's going to flip that corner, you should absolutely build toward your success.
Yeah, I mean, the funny example is the guys that go out there and they set up a bank account in the Marshall Islands and then a corporation in Hong Kong, and they try to hide all this money for, the $20,000 a year that they're making.
Yeah, it's the James Bond approach, right? We get a kick out of that, but Our particular failure here is this, I think. With AdSense Flippers, we built it up, started off on the cheap, not a big deal, but we saw that it was turning a corner probably 5 or 6 months ago, and we should have doubled down. We should have been scaling the hell out of it, right? And we didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't think we reacted fast enough. We're trying to change that now, and we're getting there. We're getting things in places. But yeah, if we had put technology in place a lot faster, i.e. a CRM, some other automation tools on the back end, we could have scaled this thing a lot better.
I think even now we've kind of held back on staffing up, right? Because we want to make sure that our staff are efficient. We want to make sure that we're getting the most use out of them, make sure we put the right hires in place. The problem, though, is that takes some time. So we've delayed, I think, on adding staff, which means adding sites, which means it's hurt our revenue. Like, we have people that want to buy sites from us right now, and we simply don't have the staff to get those sites in place. And it takes 3 or 4 months to do that, right? So we're behind the curve. As soon as you see that turning point where things start to take off for you, you should take off with it as well.
Yeah, promotion makes you a lot of money when you have something to sell or offer, right? It doesn't make you a lot of money when you have nothing. You could be the best promoter in the world. If you don't have anything to sell, it's not going to make you any money.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem we're in right now is like we don't really have anything to sell. We love talking to people. We're doing the podcast. We're interviewing on other people's podcasts, but we really don't have anything that makes us money. So we're doing it. It's interesting because I think we give away a lot of information for building sites, but we're not selling any right now because we don't have any to sell, which is frustrating. It's a frustrating position to be in that we need to fix. It's our problem for sure.
I just talked to a big customer on the phone today, and he went to our buyer sites page. He says, everything's sold. I want to spend some money, Joe. Show me how to spend money.
It sucks. I mean, it's one of those humble brags of, oh, sorry, I don't have enough sites to sell you to make money. But it's true. It's actually, we're screwing up. The truth is we're losing money, right? So you shouldn't be stuck in that situation where when your business started to take off, you didn't build. You didn't start building right away to scale the shit out of it, and that was our mistake.
Yeah, we're not doing some artificial scarcity thing here so that the price of our sites rise or something like that. We're not playing a game. We actually don't have sites in the right level to offer right now.
So here's something we're struggling a bit with, and I think we've done a bit more of this in the U.S., but we've been task managers for a long time, right? So we run tasks here in the Philippines, and what we really need to do is go to a project management approach. I'd like to have people that can run projects for us, take it, run with it, and make it successful, or not.
Well, I think that's part of getting the intern here. I think we're turning that corner. I think that's part of getting connected with other Westerners and contractors. So we're trying to change that. But yeah, I think if I had one more thing to say about a big mistake people could make with their own businesses, it's being too task-oriented, approaching things like an employee and not a business owner. This is a business, you have to be project-oriented.
And so you're saying we're screwing up on that right now, right?
We are, but we're fixing it.
Yeah, that's the important thing. So hopefully we don't let it drag out too much further, right, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's get right into the ninja marketing tips, tricks, and our plans for the future.
The AdSense Flippers Podcast continues.
So the first ninja marketing tip we have for you is QuickBooks Online. Now, I know most people have probably heard of QuickBooks or have used it, but I'll tell you, we love it and we use it for multiple businesses that we run.
Yeah, this podcast is a little bit about failure, and we talked about some of our monetary failures. QuickBooks Online is a great way to keep those financial goals in check. You do things like handle payments, you can invoice people, you can even do your payroll if you have U.S. employees. It's all cloud-based, which is really nice because if someone has a Mac or someone has a PC or someone's across the world, they can all access the same version of QuickBooks and see all the same entries.
It's fantastic, too. I mean, I can log in from anywhere and see exactly where our business is financially. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the second thing we want to mention was project-based breakdowns of your income and expenses. So we basically break it down like this. Every customer for TRYBPO has a breakdown of revenue versus expenses, and we do this on a monthly and an annual basis. AdSense Flippers has its own line, right? We know exactly what we're spending, where we're spending our money, and how much money we're bringing in.
Yeah, I mean, I would make projects almost like their own customer, and that's what we've done, so we can compare something that's internal, our own product, like AdSense Flippers or TwitArt, to TRYBPO customers and see which is the most profitable line item.
Yeah, we've talked about possibly getting into buying sites or that type of thing. We would make that a separate line item. So we would track our expenses and our profit there separately to see if that project is profitable for us. And if it's not, we'll dump it.
Yeah, because that's the worst when you're borrowing from one project or one income stream and spending it on another, and that just becomes this huge sinkhole in your cash flow.
Yeah, you have to do that at first. Nothing just magically profitable from the beginning. But let's say that you're borrowing from your salary to invest in your internet marketing experience, right? You're building your own business. It's okay, you know that you're spending that money, but you need to know how much in the hole you're getting. So if you're spending $1,500 on this course and buying these ebooks for $19.95, and you want to know how much you've spent on that. And if you're making money, you want to know when you're going to break even on that. This is the best way to do it. Next thing we want to talk about is our plan for the future. Buddy, our intern gets here, man.
Yeah, are we going to put him on the podcast?
Probably. February 18th, he'll be wheels down, flying in from Singapore. What is he doing? He's doing LAX to Narita to Singapore to Davao.
Yes.
Cool, man. I'm really excited to have him here. I'm sure he's going to be a great asset to the TRYBPO and the AdSense Flippers team, and it'd be really exciting to see how this shapes out. Hopefully, by the next podcast, we'll definitely be talking about him and let you know kind of how it's working out. If he sucks, we'll tell you that too, promise.
Nah, John, you're going to be okay, man. Can't wait to meet you.
Well, that's it for episode 10 of the AdSense Flippers podcast. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Make sure to check us out on Twitter. We're at AdSense Flippers. I'm on there on a regular basis, putting out some tricks, some tips, some cool blogs I've read, specifically dealing with niche websites, but other stuff too.
And make sure to drop by on the Facebook page, drop us a note there, tell us what you're up to, what you're thinking, and how much you like the podcast or the post, what you'd like to see from us in the future.
Facebook.com/AdSense Flippers. Till next time, guys.
Bye-bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the AdSense Flippers Podcast with Justin and Joe. Be sure to hit up AdSenseFlippers.com for more. That's AdSenseFlippers.com. Thanks for listening.